think you're still muted, Emily.
Yes, I am muted. Thank you. Hey everyone, my name's Emily. I'm a senior product designer on AI, and today I wanted to walk through kind of something we did that was really fun last milestone, which was rethinking our trial widget and just bringing more color into it. And I did a presentation because I cannot stay on topic if I do not do slides, so I apologize in advance for that. Um, so really, I wanted to take a look at our trial widget and bring more color, more kind of stuff from our marketing page into it. Because there is importance of color here, because a well-curated color palette like enhances user experience as it guides users seamlessly through an interface. So, what is our current widget? Talking to some people around our widget, I realized a lot of us haven't even seen our trial widget because we're often in GitLab that is not on a trial, or we're in kind of like our GDK, which is self-managed without a trial. So our trial widget before this redesign with GitLab Duo Pro, there were a bunch of problems here. The first one, as you can see, once we had GitLab Duo Pro, there were just two trial buttons in the side navigation. That was pretty confusing to kind of see at a glance what was going on here. The trials were happening in different days, so you could be on a different day of your Ultimate trial and GitLab Duo Pro trial. There were location problems here. We've done some studies that a lot of other trial widgets were at like the bottom of navigations or the bottom of kind of bars here, where our trial widget was right at the top, right where users were kind of looking to do all their work. And it was kind of getting in the way of some of the stuff they were doing while testing out their trial. And the trial widget had a lot of content. If you hovered over it, you got this big popover that gives you a lot of details about like how many days are remaining, which you could see in the widget on the side. Just a lot of information that was hard to gather, a lot of CTAs here. It wasn't really clear where you were exactly supposed to click. And then, not that I can share here, but there were some big usability issues here. Triggering the popover wasn't easy to do with a keyboard, and the entire popover was clickable. So if you clicked anywhere in that popover, you'd go to learn more about features. So it was a bit unclear how to use this. So wanted to get into a first iteration. So kind of sticking with staying safe, staying with like what we have in pajamas and figuring out ways to just make this trial widget a little bit more contained. We also are combining Ultimate and GitLab Duo into one trial, which made this a lot easier, and was kind of the kickoff of why we were doing this redesign in the first place. But these iterations were a little boring. Um, but I did on some of the visual design training that Jeremy had like introduced here, which I hadn't done fun stuff like this in a while. So I was just sharing a little bit of the homework from this, where just exploring with like different colors, um, colors that I would never use, like neon yellows, gradients, all of that. And it kind of got me thinking outside the box of like, yeah, I can play around with color a bit more. And then this is a big thank you from Austin and Jeremy, because I shared this widget with them and they both, I remember Austin saying, just think outside, like just for the first iteration, just go a little bit crazy and we can bring it back. So I took inspiration from our marketing site, which has like a purple to orange gradient on it. And I was like, how can we bring that into the product? Because the first entry point into trials is through our marketing site. This like gradient is kind of there, and this is like a nice connection. So we kind of went into something like this to, we don't have this gradient in the product, but it could be something cool to tie in with trials. And now, like, we wanted to tone it down a little bit better to fit with our UI. So bringing that gradient directly into kind of the progress bar of the trial, having the progress bar be that like purple color that we see on the marketing page, simplifying the CTAs, and just really making this as simple as possible and placing it at the bottom of the nav. So it fits along with like what competitors are doing. We have like a nice marketing kind of connection there, and it's not overwhelming the navigation like we were doing before. And this is why I wanted to also put into effect of why design iteration matters here. Because like with the earlier iteration, it was quite safe. I'd like to say it was like a safe design choice. This is something that would have like passed pajamas right away, but it wasn't the best design choice. And then working forward with Jeremy and Austin on this, we were able to land on something that was significantly nicer, a different, something different we hadn't explored, but I think it's a nice addition to the product. And then that's why I just wanted to kind of talk about this as like sometimes it is good to try something new. So like I am so used to designing within a design system, pulling buttons, just pulling things we already have, defaulting to what exists. Sometimes it's good to push yourself like out of that boundary and try something new because you can come up with some really cool ideas going forward with that. And yeah, that's kind of the presentation. So I'd love to get comments or questions if anyone has any. And I know, Svitika, you had the first.
Yeah, I received this feedback when I was creating like the proposal for moving the trigger, feedback trigger for root cause analysis, that it's not calling for attention. It doesn't look like it's asking for feedback for a duo feature. And the orange and purple gradient was something on my mind. I'll definitely reach out to you because the design is still in progress. I would love to add some colors there as well.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no problem.
That was super cool to see. I was curious, like, as you were going through that, did it spark anything of like, oh, this could also be done in other parts of the product?
Yeah, I think this is really what I got to is like a lot of times when I'm designing things, it's just like I'm taking what we have. And there's been a few lately, and I have to give Austin, I don't know if Austin's here. I have to give him a major thanks for this because he's pushed me outside the box for just not just this, but we also redesigned the Duo unified settings page, and that kind of pushed out of what we also initially had, not using color, just like different components. So I think this is something you can kind of bring into any design problem, is just have it at the back of your mind of like, what can we do slightly differently here to like push boundaries of what you have.
For sure. Very cool. Anything else? Any other questions for Emily? Comments? Cool. Okay. Nicely done.